welcome back to Socks and Sandals. A few months ago, I did a video on my entire video game collection. I've been collecting throughout the year, and I actually intended to just do at the end of the year like a full pickups video, but I actually went kind of ham this year. If I was to do every game that I've picked up this year, and the year's not over, so I'm still going to be collecting. I've probably more than doubled my collection from the last video I did of this, but I decided that I've been keeping notes on the games I've collected throughout the year. Been keeping it in this notebook here. So I figured I'd go through, and each page that I've got games on, I'll just go through and do a pickups video on those. So as you can kind of see here, I've got the games stacked up, and we'll just go through and show what games I've picked up. I wanted to play more of these before I talked about them. Some of them I've already played. They're games I've played before, but the majority of them are games that I've never played. And I guess this is the issue with collecting, is that you're more than likely, the bigger your collection is, the less likely you are to actually play that. Time is finite. So, but yeah, we'll start with the systems that I didn't get a lot for. This first page, I actually got more PlayStation stuff. But yeah, we'll just start with the like miscellaneous stuff. So we'll start here. This is Borderlands Game of the Year Edition on PC. I bought this because when I found it at Hastings, it still had. You probably can't see it; it's probably cropped out. But I've got a Borderlands. I've got the poster hung up over here. It's the whole reason I bought this. It was only like $6. And it does still have all of the other stuff in it. It's got a code for the Duke Nukem Forever multiplayer. You get early access. It's got little info. Oh, okay. So to access all four, so you've got to put this. It's a code for all of the DLC. I thought it was on the disc. That's strange, because the Game of the Year edition on Xbox 360 has all of the DLC on the disc. But I guess the PC version didn't do it that way, even though it's printed Game of the Year edition on the disc itself. But yeah, the only reason I bought this is that it was only like $6, and it had the Game of the Year poster in it, so I wanted that. And then next up, we've got some PS1 games. I actually found this one. There's another game later for the 360, but this is Crash Bash on the PS1. I found this at it's a thrift store in Waxahachie. It's like Methodist. It's owned by the Methodist Hospital, and a lot of the people that work there, they're in nurses. They're like in full scrubs. But I think this was $5, as well as the other game, which I'm a big Crash Bandicoot fan, so I was like, yes please. The disc is pretty alright. They also had one of the Spyros in there, but I'm not, I was a Crash Bandicoot fan, not a Spyro fan, so I didn't care. I could have picked it up and probably sold it, but whatever. That I don't have that reseller mindset, so I didn't really care to go back and get it. It may still be there, I don't know. And then these two, so Cool Borders 4 I bought at a game exchange in Fort Worth, I think. It's either Watauga or Fort Worth. And this one, Cool Borders 3, I actually, a customer brought in a bunch of CDs to work. And this was in there. So I took it. Now I'm only missing Cool Borders 1 and 2001. And I've got all of the Cool Borders games. So Cool Borders 4 is the one I played as a kid when I did my initial or my first, like my full video game collection, I talked about playing one of the Cool Borders as a kid. It was Cool Borders 4. And the reason I am now 100% sure of that is when I saw this, like I immediately remembered seeing that as a kid. So, yeah. But yeah, and then it's got an ad for Cool Borders 2001 in it. But yeah, I played a little bit of Cool Borders 2, but Cool Borders 3 I never played, and 4 I played a lot as a kid. Kyle and I would play it. This one here, so this is a game for the PSP I did not know existed. So the title is not clickbait. It's probably not anything exciting though, but this is Lucky Star Net Idol Meister. I did not know there was a Lucky Star game. I frequently will check on Lashin Bang on it's a Japanese website. They do a lot of like video games, anime stuff from Japan, just used pre-owned stuff. And this was on there for 400 yen, which is a pretty good deal if I lived in Japan. But having to ship it to the U.S., you've got to pay like $30 for shipping. Because you've got to have a proxy mailbox to shop on anything that isn't Amazon.co.jp or whatever it's called. And then, so you pay shipping to that mailbox, and then you've got to pay shipping again from that mailbox to the U.S. So it ended up being like $40 that I paid for this. But I started it, and with it being in Japanese, I don't know what the fuck's happening. I know it was like a 15-minute just like dialogue thing at the beginning of the game. I assume talking about idols. Which, I mean, if you've seen the Lucky Star TV show, that's the majority of the show is they just like to talk. But, yeah, I like Lucky Star. It's Kyoto Animation. I like the just slice of life-ness of it. But not being able to understand what's being said or at least have it in English subtitles, you can't really get a lot of the jokes. So I did not enjoy what I played of this. I could not figure out, because you probably can't see it way over there, but the back shows like several like mini game sort of things. I could not figure out how to actually play one of the mini games. One of the options I picked just like gave me a bad ending, so I don't know what the fuck it was. But yeah, did not know that existed, so that was kind of cool. And then lastly, for just the random shit for this first page, is driver parallel lines. A customer brought in a Wii U. It was like covered in like cat shit, smelled like cat piss. I don't know where they kept it, but I brought it home and was going to fix it. So I bought this to test and see if the disk drive worked, but I couldn't even get anything to show up on the screen. So now I own driver parallel lines for the Wii, and this is like my only Wii game. So, I mean, I like racing games, so if I ever feel like it, this would probably be a pretty alright thing to play. I bought it at Game Exchange in Waxahachie. It was only $8, so. Next up, I guess we'll move on to the smaller of the main stacks that I collect for. So this I bought at Founded Electronics in Watauga. I went on like a video game pilgrimage. So the Game Exchange in Fort Worth and some other places, like some half-price books and stuff. I bought a lot of this first page there. But this is Greek Memories of Azure. I played a little bit of this. It's okay. It's a side-scrolling platformer, like action platformer. I'd never heard of it, which is why I bought it. But it's It's made by Team 17. They do the Worms series. But yeah, it was alright. I don't know if I'll ever go back to it, but next up, so this one is weird. Again, something from work. A customer brought in a box of basically trash, and this was in it. This case is for Rainbow Six Siege, and it's apparently worth, I don't know what it's worth, but when I looked it up, the only 2 postings I saw of it, they had it listed at like $200 to $300. So I was like, okay, I'll keep that. But when he brought it up there, it didn't have a game in it, so I just bought a copy of Rainbow Six Siege and put it in here. I assume this was part of the limited edition. It came with like a duffel bag and some other stuff. I really don't know why anyone would want $200 for this, but if it is actually worth that, I decided I would keep it. So I bought a copy of Rainbow Six Siege to put in it. The game was like $5, so whatever. Because there's no sense in keeping an empty case on the shelf. But yeah, I have this. I don't know if I'll ever play it. It's multiplayer only, and I'm not the biggest multiplayer fan. But I mean, if I've got it in the collection, I should play it someday, right? And then lastly, for Xbox One Series X stuff, this is Atomic Heart. When this got announced, whenever it did, it looked so much like BioShock that I thought, oh, I have to play that. And then it came out, and there's that whole like Ukraine-Russia thing. I don't know if it's still going on, but there was a lot of controversy around this. And then like the price shot up to like astronomical for it. I bought this when it was like $40, so it had come back down. There were just other games that came out at the time, so when this came out, I didn't get it like day one. But I have since played some of it. I probably only played about an hour. I'm trying to go for all of the achievements for it, like I typically do. That's really like a deciding factor for a lot of my games, is if I can get all the achievements for it. But I was playing it on the hardest difficulty, and it's not easy, so it was super frustrating. And yeah, another thing that bothers me about it is the English voice acting sucks. I wish I could put it into Russian and just have English subtitles, but if you want Russian, the subtitles are in Russian as well, so I just have to suffer through the terrible English voice acting. So next up is PS3. This is probably one of the most useless games in my collection, but I wanted it just for the PlayStation pedigree. I remember when MAG got announced, the commercials for MAG were just whoever that white dude was.
Dear PlayStation, is it okay to list MAG platoon leader as management experience?
Absolutely. You rose through the ranks to command real people in 256-player battles. Your decisions influence a constantly evolving war. So what's the job?
VP first-person shooter relations. Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Son of a...
MAG. Rated T for teen.
But I never played it, but this was like a new thing. The disc is also in upside down. This was a new thing at that time. A strictly multiplayer game. Like, I remember when this came out and it was multiplayer only, I was like, what's the purpose of that? This was when Call of Duty was really big, so everybody, you know, all of the developers were like riding that hype train of Call of Duty multiplayer, so they made a strictly multiplayer game, and it can no longer be played because the servers are down. But I remember finding this at Game Exchange for 99 cents. And this was like at the start when this was going up. And when I say when the prices increased, I think it's only gone up to like $5, which is too much to spend on a game that you can't even play. But I wanted it just because, like I said, the PlayStation pedigree, the novelty of this being one of the early adopters of strictly multiplayer only. But yeah, when I took it up to the counter, they couldn't find it. And I've had that issue a lot at that game exchange. The game exchange in Mesquite. So if you live in Texas and you like game exchange, I would steer clear of the game exchange in Mesquite because their store is disorganized, and 9 times out of 10 when I go up to the counter, probably not that much, I'd probably say about 6 times out of 10, they don't have the game in the drawer. So I don't shop there anymore. But I have MAG. I've paid $5 for it, which is dumb, but, a collector's going to collect. This is the Steelbook. I believe this was the limited edition. It came with the collector's edition of Uncharted 3. This is just the Steelbook. I believe there was supposed to be a slipcover for it. I found this at a pawn shop. I have played Uncharted 3. It's not my favorite. I think Uncharted 2 is better. Uncharted 4 is a really good game as well. But, yeah, I saw this up there and I was like, oh, that's cool. I didn't know Uncharted 3 had a Steelbook. I'm not really a big Steelbook collector, but if it's a game I have played and enjoyed and it's got a cool Steelbook like this and I don't already have it, I'll buy it. And then this I bought at that same pawn shop. This is MotorStorm. I'm a big racing fan, and I haven't played any of the MotorStorm games because for the longest time I did not have a PlayStation 3 because I had a 360 when I was a kid. So when this game came out, I didn't play it. But yeah, I bought Uncharted 3 and this at the same pawn shop, and they had their PS3 games, their older games like 360 and PS3 listed at $5 a piece, and he only charged me 2 for these. So I got these 2 games for $4. So that was really cool. I have since been back to that pawn shop. They don't have a big selection on games, but, they're alright. This next one is Full Auto 2 Battle Lines. I have Full Auto 1 on the 360. Unfortunately, my copy does not have the artwork. It's just the book and the game. And I did not know that there was a sequel to that. From what I can find out, it's a PlayStation exclusive. So I bought it. Again, it's a racing game. I like racing games. I like Full Auto. So I'll probably enjoy this one. But I don't know, with just how I've never seen this or heard of it, I thought I'll grab that. Plus me actually liking Full Auto. So, yep. So that was all of the PS3. So next we'll do PS4 and Until Dawn. They're apparently doing a remaster of this for the PS5, which, okay. I liked Until Dawn when it originally came out. I liked the horror aspect of it, and I liked the fact that either everyone can die or you can save everyone. Obviously, I want to save everyone because I do not like in games a lot of my favorite characters dying. So when this originally came out, I believe I only played it twice. My first playthrough, I did it blind, and I believe I was able to save everyone but 2 people. I believe 2 people still died. And then I did another playthrough where I saved everyone. But, yeah, it's a fine game. I don't really understand why it's being remade. The other, what are they called? Dark Pictures anthology games. They're okay. Man of Medan was kind of cool. Little Hope was a big disappointment. But I haven't played the other. I think there's like 3 other games. I have House of Ashes, but I haven't played it yet. But yeah, with this being, one of those early... Was it a launch title for the PS4? I don't know if it was a launch title, but it was one of the early titles on PS4. But yeah, and with me actually liking it somewhat, I don't know if I'll ever replay it, but I did like it, so I bought it. This next one I found at Half Price Books. Again, a game I didn't already have. It's a steel book. I didn't know anything about this. I have heard of Song of the Deep, but I didn't know anything about this. So this collector's edition was supposed to come. So it's a GameStop exclusive. This is one of, I don't know, a few games that were actually published by GameStop and sold strictly at GameStop. But it was supposed to come with a sleeve cover, and it came with an art book. And obviously mine didn't have the sleeve or the art book. But I didn't know this also came out on the Xbox One. I would obviously prefer to have it on the Xbox One, but when I got it at Game Exchange, they had all these stickers and shit with it too, so that's kind of cool. But I don't know, I may play this. Again, I know nothing about it. I just got it because it's a pretty steel book. I'll give it that. So, yep. Next up is a game that one of these days I will get around to, and it is Days Gone. So when this originally launched, it didn't launch to like great critical success, but people have since gone back and, you know, redacted a lot of the negativity. They've given it its fair shot. Apparently it was kind of buggy when it launched, so a lot of that has been fixed. I found this at a pawn shop in Louisiana. I was there for work. It was $10, so I bought it. There are a few other games, like this next one here. I bought at that same pawn shop. This is the Order 1886, another game for PlayStation that did not review too well. People complained it was too short, but graphically it's a powerhouse on the PlayStation, especially with it being a launch title for the PlayStation. It's another game that people have since gone back and, you know, looked under a microscope and kind of, against its flaws of like being too short or whatever, have given it a better review. What I've heard that people say is that, yeah, at $60 with the length of it, it would be kind of a letdown with how short it is. But if you can find it at a bargain like I did at like $10, a few hours long, you get your money's worth. So, bought those at the same pawn shop, as well as this. This is Daymare 1998. I had never heard of this game when I found it there, and because of that, I bought it. It looks like it's a Resident Evil clone. Apparently, I don't know if it's a sequel or a prequel to this called Daymare 1994. I would assume prequel, since 4 comes before 8, but, you know, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a prequel, and it has a 2 in the title. So, what do I know? But yeah, I may play this. I may attempt to get all the trophies in it. I don't know. Lastly, for the PS4, this is Thumper. I believe it was Metal Jesus Rocks. I was watching one of his videos, and I think this was mentioned in it. It is a limited run game. It is the 172nd release for PlayStation from limited run. It is a rhythm game. You could play it in VR. I have a PlayStation VR headset, but I can't play VR. So, but you could also play it with just the controller. It's a rhythm game, kind of like, there used to be a game on the Microsoft Zune where you could move this little spaceship, kind of like Amplitude. Let's compare it to Amplitude. It's like Amplitude, where you're on a track, you're playing as this scarab beetle, and you've got to it's like an action rhythm game. You've got to move the beetle on the track to hit certain like you've got to drift around corners to the beat and stuff. And then it has boss fights that you have to like hit all of the notes properly in order to actually attack the boss. It was really cool. It is extremely difficult as well. I don't know how it fares in VR, but I was struggling. But I'm a big rhythm game fan, so a rhythm game that I had never heard of on the PS4, I decided to get it. Plus the concept sounded pretty cool. I think I've beat the first three. I've beat the first three chapters of this. But yeah, it's just really hard. And now that I haven't played it in so long, it will take me a minute to get back into it. But I liked it. I liked it enough. I think I ended up paying like $50 for this, which, you know, that's the price of a brand new game. I bought it used. It's a limited run game, so that just kind of comes with that limited run moniker, that you're going to pay a premium on it because of all those people like me, collectors. Fucking resellers know that collectors want the limited run shit, so what can you do? Alright, so the last stack that I got for this first page of my 2024 pickups is my Xbox 360. I guess I've got it ordered to like least interesting to interesting. I just kind of pulled them off the shelf as what I had them listed there. So, first up, this was from the Game Exchange in Fort Worth when I did that whole game collecting pilgrimage. This is the Xbox Live Arcade Unplugged. I have played this. If you've seen my achievement Hunt Horse Challenge where I tried to see how many achievements I can get in 4 days, I've played Hardwood Backgammon, and I mean, I completed in the challenge. I got the 100 gamer score in it, but I can say I understand how to play backgammon now. But the real reason that this is probably worth anything, it's got Geometry Wars, Retro Evolved, Wick, Fable of Souls, and Outpost Koloki X. And with the Xbox store closing down in July, all of these like arcade games, those two in particular, like Wick, Fable of Souls, and Outpost Koloki X, I don't think you can play those on. I don't think they're backwards compatible. All these other ones, Texas Hold'em, Bejeweled 2, I think Geometry Wars, Retro Evolved, and Hardwood Backgammon, you can download off of the Series X store and play. But those other two, I think when the store shuts down, you won't be able to play anymore unless you've already bought them. So this may go up in price. I don't know. I think I ended up paying like $5 for it. So not too bad for 6 games. Some easy gamer score fodder there as well. Singularity, another game I got at Founded Electronics. I haven't played this yet. It does have a time manipulation mechanic, which is something that I like in games. So I've asked Nathan. He says this one's pretty good, so I'll have to play this one of these days. And next up, another game I got at Founded Electronics. This is Death Smiles. Unfortunately, my copy is loose. I just have the disc. The cover art was reprinted by Founded Electronics. I played this again. This was actually the first game we played in the variety hour, so I thought it was okay. I have never played shooters. The most I've played is like Galaga and Space Invaders, or shoot 'em ups. Sorry. But this one's pretty accessible to non-shoot 'em up players. When you die, it doesn't make you go all the way back to the beginning unless you play it in that mode, but it just lets you continue from where you died from, and Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. There are 4 other characters than what I played as in the game, so there's plenty to go back to. And you get achievements for like completing each of those. So again, some more achievement fodder. This next game is a bit of a disappointment because Virtua Fighter 5 Online I found at another thrift store in Waxahachie. I think I paid $2 for it, and the disc was scratched. It wouldn't play. Nathan likes fighting games, so I took it over to his house so we could try it out. I took a few of them over there, and it wouldn't work. The game's not really worth anything. It's like $5. But I thought, why not? Maybe one of these days Nathan and I will play it. I'm not the biggest fighting game fan, but Nathan is. So I bought another copy, and this disc here I bought off of Macari, and it is trashed. I don't know if that'll come through on the camera, but that disc is scratched to hell. And I put it in the Xbox. I actually just tested it. And it at least made it past the main, or the like, logos that typically will start when you start a game. But I thought, okay, well, let me go ahead and try and install it just in case, because it's scratched. I doubt it'll play well. And unfortunately, when I was trying to install it to the Xbox, it told me it couldn't read the disc. So this one may be a MacGuffin as well. Which, at this point, if I was to buy it again, I've already paid twice as much for however much the game is worth. So what are you going to do? But a pretty cool find. This is another game I found at the same thrift store as Crash Bash. This is Toy Story 3. Mine does not have the manual. The manual that came with this actually feels like a chalkboard. It's got a texture to it. I bought this... So this came out around the same time as the third movie. And I bought this, and this is a fantastic game. Hence why it's kind of increased in value. Typically movie tie-in games aren't really worth much, but this one I think is like $20 or something. But yeah, I bought this for $5 at that thrift store, so that was really cool. And at one point in time, I had the ambitions of getting all of the achievements for every Pixar game on the 360. I would not have been able to do that because Cars has an unobtainable achievement in it. So, but I did get all the achievements in Toy Story 3, WALL-E, and Up. I have Brave as well, but I have yet to play that. I believe that's on a different sheet, so I guess I still have time to play it by the time we get to that one. But yep, Toy Story 3, pretty decent find for $5. This next game is part of a trilogy. This is Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13. This was the last game I needed for the Final Fantasy 13 series. I have grand ambitions of doing an achievement hunt tours where I get all of the achievements in all of the Final Fantasy 13 games. So I needed this one, and Nathan bought this for me for Christmas last year. So technically, a few of these games I got before 2024, but I didn't start keeping track of the games I purchased until 2024 had already started. But as you can see, this copy is still sealed, so I don't know if I'll open it. It is backwards compatible on the Series X. I'll probably just rebuy it on the Series X and play it digitally and just keep my copy sealed. I don't know how much he paid for this sealed copy. Nathan almost exclusively shops on Amazon, so he probably paid twice as much what it's worth, but I thank him nonetheless for giving it to me. Next up is Hellboy: The Science of Evil. I bought this at Half Price Books in Mesquite, which will be closing down next month, unfortunately. And I've never played any of... I don't know if there are any more Hellboy games, but it was a game I hadn't heard of, and the copy I got actually still has the movie voucher to go see the movie in theaters. So that was kind of cool. Since this movie came out in like 2008, I doubt that is still good. I don't know if this is a good game. It is couch co-op, so I could play it with Nathan. Unfortunately, it does also have multiplayer achievements, so I probably won't be able to get all of the achievements for this. But that Hellboy, like Revenge of Word or something, there was a recent Hellboy game that came out sometime this year. So I figured I'd grab this. For no particular reason other than I didn't know it existed. Next up is Crackdown. So I already had Crackdown 2 on the 360, which I got in like some random game lot I bought off Mercari. So I was just looking for games to buy at Game Exchange, and they had Crackdown, so I bought Crackdown. A lot of the video game collecting YouTubers I watch, they're like, it is complete, which isn't something I really care about. As long as it has artwork, I'm happy. And I said this in my last collection video. Sometimes having the manual is cool, like when it's like Toy Story 3, where it's got something, special about it, but if the game is $10 cheaper without a manual and I just want to play it, I'm going to do it that way. Now, if it's $10 cheaper and doesn't have the artwork, I'll probably splurge for the artwork. But, Crackdown. I thought Crackdown was okay. I played it. I've played all of the Crackdowns except 3. I do still need to get Crackdown 3, but that one's gone up in price as well. It used to be a $5 game. And I think it's like 15 now, so, which really isn't too bad compared to a lot of the 360 prices here recently, but yeah, I'll get that eventually because I'd have to complete the series anyways. So next up is Guitar Hero 2. I also have grand ambitions of getting all of the Guitar Hero games for Xbox 360. I'm missing Warriors of Rock, Smash Hits, and Van Halen. I'm only missing 3 of them. And I needed 2. I bought this at Game Exchange the same time I bought Crackdown. So I think I paid like $9. At one point, someone was asking $1.95 for this. So wish I would have got it then. So I have the receipt in here for that time. I bought Guitar Hero 2 for $10 and Crackdown for $6.99. And then I also bought a Wii U gamepad AC adapter because I was trying to see if that Wii U worked, but it did not. Yeah, Guitar Hero 2, you have to have an Xbox 360 Guitar Hero guitar to actually play 2. I think 3... after 3, so World Tour and onwards, you can use a Rock Band guitar. But Guitar Hero 2 and 3, you had to have a Red Octane guitar controller. So when I bought this, I thought I would play Guitar Hero 2. I have played it. It's not the greatest, but I had to buy a Guitar Hero guitar, and it was like $40. Which is on the cheaper side because they thought it was broken. So next up is Majin and the Forsaken Kingdom. Austin Eruption on YouTube talked me into buying this because it's an uncommon game on the 360. It's like that, what is it, The Last Guardian on PS4, where you're a character that can't really fight. So a lot of the fighting is done from this troll thing that you like control with voice commands and shit. I mean, you don't scream it, but you hit a button and the character in the game does. So I don't know if I'm really into that, but I may try it. I will try it at one point, but it's definitely not top priority. The PS3 version of this, for whatever reason, is like $40 to $50, which I don't understand. I don't understand that sort of like difference between the two consoles. I don't understand why it would be more valuable on the PS3 than it is on the 360, which I don't really care about. I already own it, so it's not like, you know, I'm gonna sell it unless it's bad, and then I'll sell it. But because if I don't like it, there's no sense in holding on to it, right? And then, so lastly for my pickups of this first page is Monster High New Ghoul in School, which a lot of you can scoff. It's an okay game. It is a children's game, and the only reason I bought it was for achievements. A lot of the like kids games, like the Pixar movie tie-in stuff, are pretty easy achievement gets. Considerably, or they're like, I'd probably say 75% of the time they're gonna be pretty much gimmies. But yeah, I got it at the same time I got Until Dawn, and I believe I paid $3 for this and $5 for Until Dawn. It's apparently worth $12. And when I opened this, it had 2 copies of the game in it. The other copy was a little scratched, but I sold that one for like, I don't know, $5. So I got a $2 profit on it. But yeah, it was a pretty, like, the story was kind of interesting. A lot of the stuff you had to do to get all of the achievements, though, kind of sucked. But, like, there's one to buy all of the clothes from the shop, and it probably took me maybe an hour and a half after beating the game, just grinding money to do that. But, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, if you want some achievements, and you can find it, like, at a thrift store or whatever for, like, $2, pick it up. It's, you know, I'm keeping it because a lot of the games that I have all of the achievements for, even if I didn't like it, like Legendary, I'm going to keep it just because of it was a game that I fully completed. So I'm holding on to that one. But yeah, that was my pickups, let's just say for the first part of 2024. I really did, like, go hard. Like, my video game collection from when I posted that was 15 years of buying video games. And like I said, the first few months of 2024, I've probably doubled at least my 360. I have been going hard on getting 360 games. I don't really know what... It's probably all this shit I've been watching on YouTube. You know, just buying it. And now, I guess I'm kind of glad I got a lot of the more expensive unknown stuff on 360 that I actually want. Since now the prices have started to go up. But yeah, I don't know when I'll do the next page of these pickups. But I will be doing another pickups video. And if you would like to see that, consider subscribing and clicking that notification bell, because apparently that's how YouTube tells people what they're actually subscribed to. You would think subscribing to someone would just... your subscriptions would just show up on the homepage, but that's not how shit works. So hit that notification bell if you're interested in seeing more pickups. I also do achievement hunting videos if that's something you're into. I've got a playlist on the channel. If you have any of these games, or if there are any 360 games that are similar to these that I've showed off, or PS4, PS3, whatever that you think I should have, leave them in the comments down below. But other than that, check back next time for whatever I do. Bye-bye.